Hey all, Nonol here. So instead of a new episode releasing today, a new movie trailer dropped instead, which was something I had been suspecting due to no trailer dropping on Wednesday, which is when they have been typically released in the past. It came to no surprise to me that this Karen arc would end with a movie, as the SMG4 team always release movies around this time of year, and last week's cliffhanger was very dark and significant, making it unlikely that they wouldn't follow it up with a more significant episode, such as a movie. The Karen arc movie has been revealed to be called Silence of the Cats, an obvious reference to the movie Silence of the Lambs. Based on the synopsis of that movie, since I haven't seen it myself, I don't think we can learn any insight about the SMG4 movie from Silence of the Lambs. I think they chose to reference this movie title just for the sake of having a cool sounding title for their own movie. I'm kinda disappointed that the theme of family present in this arc wasn't represented in the movie title, but Silence of the Cats isn't a bad title even if it doesn't represent anything from the Karen arc in particular. The trailer doesn't really reveal any new details about what the plot of the movie may entail, as last week's episode and the Wednesday post of the family photo already gave me plenty to theorise about in regards to what may happen in the story. I previously theorised that Karen would be forced to return to her home, which is where Mr Weapons revealed that he had taken the kids to. It appears that Mr Weapons is attempting to gain the kids' trust in order to more easily manipulate and train them into becoming assassins, with Mr Weapons probably doing this with some sort of selfish goal likely in mind, such as perhaps hoping to profit from their future assassination hits, or maybe getting new assassins for Hitman Inc. would earn him more favour within the corporation, assuming that Mr Weapons was a former assassin who worked for Hitman Inc. but never left, unlike Karen. This theory is actually backed up by the new trailer, which shows an old picture of Karen and Mr Weapons hanging out and having a good time. In the picture, Karen is wearing the same jacket that she wore when she was first hired by Hitman Inc., so it's clear that this picture was taken back when she used to work for them. So assumedly, Mr Weapons and Karen met once she began working as an assassin, and so we can assume Mr Weapons is a fellow assassin, and it can also be assumed that they last met soon before or after Karen gave birth to her children, as we know she left the assassin life behind so that she could raise her children and be there for them, not wanting to abandon them like what happened to her as a child. It seems that in order to gain the trust of the children, Mr Weapons has forced his way into Karen's family, taking on the role of the father, and he will force Karen to go along with this in order to ensure the safety of her kids. Once the kids fully trust Mr Weapons and are perhaps manipulated into preferring him over Karen, since Mr Weapons has been portraying himself as the more chill and fun parent, we can then assume that Mr Weapons will initiate the next phase of his plan. Where the plot of the movie goes past this, I'm not really sure. I assume at some point in the movie we will see Mr Weapons training the kids with firearms, and I also assume there will be some sort of conflict between Zack and Katie, as Zack will initially prefer Mr Weapons while Katie will be more skeptical of him and will probably be the first child to side with Karen against Mr Weapons. Also, since we can see the shadow of Mario in the community post from Sunday, we know Mario and the SMG4 crew will play an important role in this movie, although we already knew that based on Mario and SMG4's prominent roles in this Karen arc so far. Though when they'll show up in the story is uncertain. Perhaps Mario will meet up with Karen in the room with the pictures on the walls, like in the community post, or maybe Mario and the crew will track Karen down later after SMG4 has recovered from his injuries. I'm pretty certain that Mario and the crew will be the element that Mr Weapons was unable to account for, and their appearance in the story will be the first step to the inevitable defeat of Mr Weapons. I'm also pretty certain that no character will die in this arc, including Mr Weapons. They're obviously not going to kill off any of Karen's children, and Karen dying would not be a satisfying conclusion to a character arc of overcoming her ruthless past ways from when she was an assassin and overcoming her self-doubts about being a mother. I feel they won't kill Mr Weapons off, since I genuinely believe they will finish with a cliffhanger ending where Mr Weapons ends up getting sent to prison and ends up in a cell next to Mr Puzzles, setting up an eventual team up between the two Misters. even though they surprised me by having Mr. Puzzles not show up in any significant fashion during this arc. I would be even more shocked if they don't even at least tease his next appearance, and I feel having Mr. Puzzles meet Mr. Weapons is the only way to properly tie in such an ending into the Karen arc, as Karen's story otherwise has nothing in connection to Mr. Puzzle's story. Oh, and I don't think I really need to mention this, but we're going to see a lot of backstory in this movie, explaining what Karen's relationship with Mr. Weapons was, getting a deeper look at Karen's life in Hitman Inc. before she got pregnant, etc. But let's finally move on to the main point of discussion I want to cover. We finally get our first proper look at Mr. Weapons' appearance. The model looks great, as expected, but there's a slight issue I've noticed that may throw a wrench into my previous theories. Mr. Weapons doesn't really look like a cat, like at all. He definitely doesn't resemble Karen or the children in any significant way, and he lacks any noticeable features of a cat. His eyes and mouth make him resemble a fish or a shark far more than a cat. Heck, he looks like he'd fit right in with the Gaslight District's cast of characters. This entire time, I've been speculating with near certainty that Mr. Weapons is the father of Karen's kids, and there's a lot of evidence for this still. He fits the description Karen gave for the father, of being reckless and chaotic. This recklessness of his could play into why he seems to have lost both his hands and arms. Furthermore, he acts fatherly towards the kids. He talks about how the children's skills with firearms must be in their blood, which felt like pretty explicit foreshadowing, and the community post with the family photo felt particularly explicit in suggesting Weapons is the father, as usually these types of family photos contain only the mother, father and children. Yet Mr. Weapons doesn't appear to be a cat, and none of his traits can be seen in the appearance of the children, so this raises some serious doubts about whether he could actually be the father, despite all this evidence I previously just brought up. Did none of his genetics get passed on to the kids? Or is Mr. Weapons just an old friend of Karen's, and nothing more? Did Mr. Weapons perhaps kill the true father of Karen's kids, and that's why Karen was so afraid of Mr. Weapons to the point of going into hiding from him? Weapons and Karen clearly were friends, based on that picture of them together, and how Mr. Weapons talked about what he liked about Karen's personality. Maybe Weapons fell in love with Karen, but she had already fallen in love with another man, that being the true father. Maybe this is why Weapons killed him. It was out of jealousy. There are some issues with this idea, however, such as how Karen doesn't seem nearly pissed enough at Mr. Weapons for him to be the murderer of her ex-husband, and of course, there's still plenty of evidence that Weapons himself is the father of the kids. The only possible evidence to the contrary is how he refers to the children as Karen's children, using the words yours over ours. But this could be explained away as revealing that he has no emotional attachment to the children, to the point of not even viewing them as his kids. I'm genuinely not too confident either way anymore, but I have no doubt that we'll learn about the parentage of the children in the movie. One last thing, in the picture of Karen and Weapons from their Hitman Inc. days, we see that Weapons has his robot hand, but Karen clearly didn't recognise Weapons' robot hand in Enough is Enough. Hopefully this is just an inconsistency in the trailer and will not be present in the movie itself. Anyways, that's all from me. I hope you're excited for the movie, since I know I am. Hopefully it is nowhere near as underwhelming as the Puzzle Vision movie was, especially considering how strong in terms of writing this arc has been so far.